Cool. Welcome to Be Your Greatest Asset, our wellbeing series, specifically for mums in business. And this has been created. We were just talking about that, weren't we? Just talking. This has been created as a really raw, organic, authentic wellbeing series for mums in business. And the idea behind it is for amazing, incredible women like Hayley here to showcase your incredible talents, your gifts, and your wisdom, and really to inspire other women to prioritize her well-being and offer a whole variety of different suggestions and ideas and how you can go about achieving this. So I've already said who we've got here, so I'm delighted that we've got Hayley Prescod with us today from the Happy Cup practice. Hayley is going to be talking with us today about 5 ways to create an overflowing happy cup. It's all about taking time for you, putting yourself first, which allows you to serve from a place of love, allowing you to leave overwhelm behind and create a ripple effect, and a magical ripple effect for all of those around you. So Hayley, would you like to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me to start with. This is lovely to get together and have a chat. It's lovely. So, like Michelle said, I'm Hayley from the Happy Cup practice. So I'm a holistic transformational life coach. So I assist people that are feeling stuck, burnt out, overwhelmed, lost to move forward. Putting you first, so you're always at the center of everything that I do with my clients. And then I always say that ripple effect is magical, because actually when we start to put ourselves first and we can start to serve from love, and we haven't got those negative feelings and overwhelm coming in, that actually that ripples to those people around you, because you turn out happier. As mums, we have more patience, we're more present. So yeah, my role is really transformation. I am a Reiki master as well, so we bring that in, some healing. But my main thing is all to assist people to shine confidently inside and out.
Beautiful. I love it. And I am so on board with the importance of creating that magical ripple effect. I love that you call it magical.
Well, it is. Well, that's why it used to be just ripple effect. But I'm like, actually, it's magical. We need to make this as more important, because actually it's when other people around you start to notice, and you get those nice compliments, or the children give you an extra long hug or a harder squeeze, just because actually you've been a more present, calmer energy to be around. And I think it does benefit.
And do you find as well, though, that depending on your mood, that has a massive impact on how your children behave as well?
Absolutely.
I find that if my boys, if I'm a bit, grumpy, then it rubs off on my boys. But then
Yeah.
the days that I really spend the time prioritizing myself, filling my happy cup,
Yeah.
the boys are a lot happier as well, and get
Absolutely.
on
But
better.
I think for our children, we're the role models to them. So actually, if we're modeling this behavior, affirmations, gratitude, taking moments to just breathe and pause, or saying, actually, I just need a minute, they learn from that, and they're able to bring those skills in, and they're practicing it already, and using their words to communicate, rather than us holding it all in and then we overflow because in a negative way, because we haven't been putting all the good stuff in.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. But then they take that to the wider community as well, don't they? So it really, it's just,
Yeah,
it is magical, completely
it's
magical.
rippling, that ripple. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
tell us. I'm really excited to hear about your five tips for creating your overflowing happy cup.
So these are my top 5 tips. So these are things that I've I found work for me, work for my clients, and they're things that we can do daily. So I think the small things are, for me, actually more important than the big things, because actually the small things we can do daily, regularly, they can become habits for us. So then you're constantly feeding into your cup, rather than weeks going by and then you go, actually, I haven't done anything for me. Um, so my first one on my list is gratitude. So expressing our gratitude, what we're grateful for now. I'm a massive believer that what we put out, more comes back to us. So if we're thankful for what we've already got, then that can grow. So what I always assist my clients with is to write it. I think it's really important to write it down, because then you're reading it, so you're absorbing it. Speak it. I speak mine out loud. Like, I've been somewhere today and the view was gorgeous, and I literally go, I'm so grateful for this beautiful view in front of me. So being grateful in the moment. And with that, I always say, end the day on a positive thought. So something that's made you happy that day, something that you're grateful for. So as you close your eyes, you're ending on a happy note. I used to be that person that I'd go to bed overthinking, or still be put out about the mum that maybe didn't speak to me in the playground. She's probably busy. She didn't have time to talk. It's not personal. It's okay. But I'd overthink it and then I'd worry about it. Whereas now I always end the day and think, what am I grateful for? What's made me happy? Because I think you're then setting the tone ready for the next day as well. Because if you go to bed overthinking, you're probably going to wake up feeling that way. So it's creating those habits at the beginning, at the end, and throughout the day of just sharing what you're thankful for or grateful for.
That's beautiful. I love that positive thought at the end of the day. It's really lovely. And I think I would imagine that if you go to bed feeling really anxious about stuff and, you know, negative thoughts, then you're not going to sleep as well either. So then you get into a bad cycle of sleep patterns and going to wake up a bit more tired and grumpy and a bit less able to face the day.
And I was that person. That I have been on a journey. I've been on my own transformation. And probably 5 years ago, I was that negative, burnt out, overwhelmed, resentful. I was just stuck on that cycle. And I've taken the time, done the healing, done the transformation, and I know that they work because I'm so much happier and I feel better, and I see the results that does have in the people around me. But I think we were talking about this just now, wasn't it? Everything starts with you. So you come first, and if you can pour all that good stuff into you rather than relying on other people pouring into you, you're always going to feel good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Perfect. So
Okay.
number 2 is schedule in time for you and make it non-negotiable.
Yes.
Because often we don't. We're scheduling for our children, our husbands, our work, and we're right at the bottom of the pile. So that's why I always say, again, you first, and then it filters down. So I run my schedule and I plan on all my kids' activities, my work, and then I look and I do schedule out time for me. And I then I always say, make it non-negotiable, because you wouldn't cancel on your children, you wouldn't cancel on your husband. So don't cancel on yourself and go, actually, I'll just work there.
Yeah.
Flexibility comes in, but I think we treat ourselves with the same respect that we show to others around us.
Date yourself.
Yeah.
That's something
I've got that wrote down, and you just said it. It's like you've read my paper. Have a date with yourself.
Is that one of your tips, or is it?
Well, it's written down when I said schedule it and make it non-negotiable and have a date with yourself. I love dates with myself.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And I think when you're really comfortable to have a date with yourself, that's when you know you've really made it. When you're actually comfortable in your own company, and you know you're not scared of feeling lonely or whatever, then that's a good place to be, definitely. When we were doing house renovations, and it was the most stressful time of our entire lives. I say we, my husband and I. We had a young baby in the house as well. He was actually born on a building site. No joke. Yeah. And at that point, we were so action packed with our social schedule and the work life, the renovations we were up to, goodness knows what time, planning stuff, planning committees, doing interior design, all sorts of stuff. Got to the point then, that's when I started writing in the diary, keep free, because otherwise we were just going to crash and burn. To be honest, I did crash and burn anyway, but without that, then it would have been a lot more disastrous.
Absolutely.
Or maybe actually that might have been after I crashed and burned. That was me trying to pick myself back up, actually, I think.
Yeah, you start to recognize, don't you, when these things become habits. And I'm not saying that life is rosy all the time. Curveballs will come our way, but actually, if you've got those tools, you don't stay down for so long, and you know how to pick yourself back up.
Definitely.
And it allows you to start to recognize the signs. So I find now I can prevent the burnout, because I start to feel the tension, anxiety, I might start forgetting things or double booking. And that's when I have to take a step back and go, check in.
Yeah.
You need to take some time. You need to pour back into you. And literally, I'll go in my diary and I'll go, right, nothing in that day. And I'll just put day off. And I
Mm.
don't always even plan anything. I'll just flow. But that's just, yeah, a date with myself. And I just pour everything back in that I need.
Yeah. So, so powerful.
Yeah.
Empowering. Empowering.
Yes. Yes. Love that word. Empowering. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So what's tip number
So
3?
number 3, I probably should have done this one first actually, because it kind of links. But know what makes you happy and know what you need.
Mm.
Um, this was my probably biggest light bulb moment. That I was on a call, I think it was like a group coaching or something. And one of the questions was, what makes you happy? And I started reeling off all these things. And then the lady said, but what makes Hayley happy? Because everything that you've mentioned revolves around your children or your husband. But
Okay.
what actually makes Hayley happy? And I went, and I had to go away and really think about it. And it's something, it's one of the first things that I work on with my clients. Know what makes you happy,
Mm.
because often we forget. So again, we're not pouring into our happy cups because we're serving everyone around us. But if you know what makes you happy when you've got that spare time, so whether it's reading, dancing, and I'm not saying you've got to go out to a club, but just put some tunes on and start dancing in your kitchen and move your
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
It fills you up. It makes you feel good.
That's the thing. I think people don't realize that you don't need to necessarily go to a dance class that you like, oh, I will go to that yoga class, I will go to that dance class. Oh, but I never have the time. What you don't realize is that you can just spend 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour dancing around the kitchen, doing
Yeah,
some yoga at home.
absolutely.
It's, yeah, it could just be,
Yeah.
so simple, can't it?
But it's knowing that
It's,
that's what makes you happy. Maybe it's colouring. And often, sometimes we have to go back to our childhood and think, what made me happy when I was a child, when I didn't have any fears, when I didn't know what I know now? What would I do?
yeah.
Some people it's bike riding, going for a run. But it's things that we forget to do, I think, especially when we become mums. We start serving our children
Mm,
and we pour everything into them that often, and then that's why we forget what we do. And so then I always say as well, revisit it, because as you grow and evolve, you'll start to remember, or you'll find new things that make you
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that you know what makes you happy. And I had a lady, I think it took us about a month to really pin down things that made her happy, because it had been so long, and everything she was coming back. And I was like, but what makes you happy? And it started off with reading. And then when she started doing just one thing, it started flowing back. And she's like, oh, actually, Haley, I remembered I really used to enjoy doing this. So I've scheduled it in and I found some time. And one of them was walking. And I was like,
Brilliant.
when was the last time you went for a walk? And she was like, well, I pushed like her child to and from nursery or whatever. And I was like, but when did you go for a walk? She's like, a couple of days passed and then I get a voice note. Haley, I've just been for a walk on my own. It was so nice. I've put my headphones in. I've listened to what I want to do. So it was only 20 minutes, but for that 20 minutes, she was her, not mummy
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
someone's wife. She had 20 minutes, again, pouring into her happy cup. So when she stepped back in the house, she's ready to serve
It's
her children
amazing.
and her husband and work and things. So yeah, know what makes you happy
I
and
think
do those
sometimes
things.
when you are out of sync with your own happiness, sometimes it can be a bit daunting, can't it, to think, well, okay, spending that time by
Yeah,
yourself, you have to keep persevering, get into
yeah,
that back into the habit, don't you?
yeah.
So it becomes normal again. Like,
But yeah, and I think it's knowing that it's okay to take time for you. Like
yeah,
as a mum, you don't have to be hoovering, tidying. Like it's still going to be there tomorrow.
yeah,
But actually, if you feel a bit happier and more motivated, they don't seem like such a chore or such a task, because
exactly.
you're filling into you as well, not again just serving the house, the home, the other people.
Yeah,
Um, so
it
yeah,
is
I think
good.
it's important sometimes to ignore everything else and just pour into you. Definitely.
Yeah, and I realized how mindful hoovering can be the other day. Even just running the hoover around,
Yeah,
even though I hate hoovering. Well, I don't actually hate it. That's the thing. I actually really get satisfaction from having clean
yeah,
floors. Um, but then I'm happy to leave it if, I don't want to do it that day and I want to sit and have a cup of tea
yeah,
or something. But I was like, actually, I've had loads of real great aha moments hoovering today.
Yeah, I
Loads of
love
really
the
good
Hoover.
ideas. It's
Yeah.
I was just so
And you're moving your
focused.
body at the same time. So you're
Exactly.
ticking
Get a
two
sweat
boxes,
on.
put the tunes on, makes it a
Yeah,
bit easier.
yeah, definitely. So,
Yeah.
what would your top tip be for somebody who doesn't know what makes them happy? Like, how do you start that process? One thing,
Start writing it down.
write down.
So
So, like,
put pen to
brainstorm.
paper, brainstorm, think back. Or even if it's, for example, I don't know, spending time with your children. So for me, one of my big things is football. I love watching my son play football, but equally, I actually love watching football myself, and I don't mind like kicking a ball about. So it's removing the child from it and actually just doing it for me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So put the pen to paper and ask yourself, what is it that makes you happy about the things that you think? Or dream back and go back to your childhood and think, when I was at my happiest as a child, because I appreciate we don't all have rosy childhoods, and for some people it's more difficult, but there'll be a moment of something that made you happy.
Yeah.
Often it is, like I said, the colouring, the riding your bike, swinging on a swing. That's a big one. Actually, sitting on a swing. Now you go to the park, don't you? And you're pushing your kids, but get on the swing yourself.
I did that yesterday
Love
in the
it.
rain. It was so much
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Felt like a child. Embrace your inner child.
Embrace, yes, embrace your inner child.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
put pen to paper, write it down, and put it up somewhere. Because actually, it's nice for the people around you to know what makes you happy as well.
Yeah, that's
Then
brilliant.
they can
That's a
pour
great
into the
tip.
cup if they want. Yeah,
Love that. Love that.
yeah.
Okay, so number 4.
Use affirmations. So I am a massive fan of talk to yourself like someone you love,
Mm,
because often we're our biggest fans, but also we can be our biggest critics as well. And sometimes that negative talk that we're telling ourselves, you wouldn't talk to your friends or your children like it. So don't talk to yourself like it. And I love mirror work, which can be a little bit uncomfortable to start with,
yes.
but I combine. So obviously I do appreciate busy working mums. We don't always have as much time as we would like. Like, let's be realistic here. So when I'm doing my skincare, I've got my affirmations on my mirror, so I would speak them, and then I would look in the mirror and I tell myself that I love myself and that I'm proud of myself, and anything that I need to pour into myself. So it might be that I believe in you, I am confident. I always say to people, yes, we can find affirmations online, but try and write your own, because then
Mm,
you're owning them and they relate to you. So write your own affirmations, even if it's only 2 or 3, and speak them out loud as often as you need. Um, and when you become really comfortable, do it in the mirror, because then you're really tuning in to that person and connecting to that person that
yeah.
actually you should love just as much as the people around you. So yeah, I always say affirmations and talk to yourself like someone you love.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. And mirror work. Yes, I'm a big fan as well. But it is
Oh, yeah.
something, again, something really daunting and alien to us.
Mm-hmm.
We look in the mirror to put some makeup on, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes we wear makeup, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
But when did you last actually look in your eyes, look into your soul, kind of thing, like you would your child, like you would your husband, maybe, or your partner, or a friend, or whatever, and again, it's something that needs to be practiced.
Mm.
It's something that feels so painfully uncomfortable to start with,
Yeah.
and it evokes huge emotion. It did for me. I was
Yes, it does.
nearly in tears, like, but
Mm.
but it is, again, really powerful. It's
Yeah.
incredible. So yeah, thank you.
First time somebody recommended that I did it, I couldn't do it.
Mm,
Another thing with that as well is write down all the things that you love about yourself. And I
mm,
remember the first time someone said that to me, I really struggled. Now I could write a page,
yeah,
because I've
yeah,
learned to love myself. I've loved to, these things that I'm saying, be grateful. But what we're grateful for about us, it's not always about the people. Look inside and look at you.
yeah,
Like you said, it always starts with you.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, write down what you love about you. And then from there, that's what sparks some more affirmation. Or if there's something you're struggling with, how can you flip that? What can you start telling yourself to change that negative self-talk?
Love it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Go on. Go on. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was going to move on to my last one, but no,
Oh, okay.
let's.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say that, yeah, somebody challenged me, one of my business coaches challenged me to write 100 things that I love about myself.
Mm,
And I put it off and I put it off and I put it off for weeks and weeks and weeks. But when I actually sat down and did it, it flowed and I was over 100 things. But
love it.
it,
I'm going to try that.
yeah. So there we go. If you want to try that, anyone out there, you can start with 10 things to start with
Yeah, and then build.
and
That's
then
it.
build on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep some blank
Always
pages
start and
free.
build on it. But
Yes,
the key is to
definitely.
start, isn't it?
Took me a long, long time to get to that point where I could just
Yeah.
free flow like that. It was incredible. So
Yeah. Love
yeah.
it. Yeah. So my last one is create balance. I always say it's about balance. We always come back to the balance because if we're doing too much, pouring into ourselves, then obviously that can affect the people around us in a negative way. If we're serving the people around us too much, again, that impacts on us. If we're work, and actually working all the time, if you start to burn out and feel tired, actually you start to make mistakes and things go wrong. So again, you're not showing up as your best self. So it's all about the balance. And what I say to people as well, I explore with my clients um, several areas of like self care. So we would look at environment, career and business, financial, social, physical, emotional, relationships, self care, self love, and if it appeals to you or not, your spiritual side.
Yes.
Massive fan of it. It's something I love to pour into my cup. So I do go quite deep with my clients and we explore all of those things we've covered, all of those areas. Because actually, if you're pouring in too much to one of them and maybe you're missing an area, you become unbalanced. So again, it's not even. So go back to balance and make sure the balance is right across the board of what you're pouring in and where you're pouring to.
Definitely. And I find with myself and with my clients that when you focus actually on the ones that are most out of balance, then it can automatically boost the rest of them anyway and starts to,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
It's a really,
um,
really great exercise to do, isn't it?
it is. Yeah. But you can just draw like I use sheets with my clients, but you can just write these things. I think putting pen to paper is a powerful tool that we probably overlook. Probably from school, we're made to write and then we rebel when we leave. But actually, journaling and writing things down for me, I just find it's probably the best tool. If I probably had to choose one tool, it'd be journal, pen and paper, because actually you can do so much with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think actually I journal a lot as well. And I find that when you write it down, it sticks
Yeah,
better. It actually goes into your subconscious and you
yeah,
can, pull it up when you need it. Or
yeah,
but you've also got
yeah,
that written record to look back on to
yeah,
see how much you've achieved, to see how far you've
absolutely.
come. And
Yeah. And that's another reason it's great to speak it. Writing it, you can read it back. Speaking it, you're hearing it. So again, you're tuning into your senses, so your body's absorbing it rather than just thinking it. Or you can get into that negative thinking cycle, which isn't healthy. So again, it's flipping that switch and pouring in the good.
wonderful. Oh, I love those tips.
Mhm.
Absolutely love them. So
Yeah.
I know you've got a 10 tip. Um, if you want
Yes.
to go even further, do you want to share that with?
Yeah, so it's in a PDF form. So maybe if I send it to you or people, feel free, you can contact me directly and I can send it out to you. And then you've got something to reference back to as well. Like this is great, but actually it's a paper form. You can go back and re-look at it and it's 10 ways of keeping your happy cup. I say overflowing because I like to think of the cup, people like, oh, I'm running on empty. Actually, we can refill it. So I always think that we're always keep pouring into it.
It's like a
Yeah,
beautiful waterfall.
yeah, that ripple. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. And how can people contact you?
So the best way to find me is um, Facebook, Instagram, Happy Cup Practice. I'm out there. I do offer a membership as well. So I do have a Happy Cup Club where I assist people on a monthly. It's we have group coaching calls and yeah, but Happy Cup Practice, you'll find me and you'll see more Happy Cup because that's what I've become known as and it's grown. But actually I own it and I love it.
happy cup lady.
Yeah, a happy cat lady.
Hayley is the happy cup lady.
Yeah,
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'll put your contact details in the show notes as well.
thank you. Thank you.
That's
Lovely.
amazing. Well, it's been such a pleasure chatting to you, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and
Thank you for having me.
and yeah, I'm sure this will have a really positive impact on many, many women out
Yeah,
there.
I hope. Even if you just use one, if you're like, whoa, that was too much, just think which one kind of jumped out at me. What am I not doing? What do I need to do? You just choose one, always small steps and then
Build on it.
build. Yeah,
Keep growing.
absolutely
Hoping.
always.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Hayley. It's been a real
Thank you.
pleasure. Take
Thank
care.
you. Take care. Bye bye.